Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the webinar. It is lovely to have you on board today. We'll just give it a couple more moments for a few people to join. It's lovely weather here in the UK, so grab a nice refreshing beverage and you can enjoy our AI webinar. My name is Demi. I am the Senior Implementation Consultant here at Autogen. Really looking forward to taking you through our software and showing you the best and most practical ways to use AutogenAI for bid and proposal writing. If you have any questions, you'll notice that we have the Q&A tab that you can use for questions. And we have Cameron Brown on the call who will be addressing your questions throughout the session today. But we will have time at the end of the session for a live Q&A where I can address your questions individually. So just take an opportunity to use the Q&A, ask as many questions as you'd like. And yeah, looking forward to showing you what we've got. Great. I think we should have everyone on the call, so I'm going to begin. I think you can all see my screen. Fantastic. Great. So once you log into Autogen, you'll see here that you have your homepage. And the homepage is a great place where you can get started. Essentially, what are we working on today? It could be several things that you're working on. Maybe you just want to create a quick draft aligned to specification requirements, or you might want a storyboard and get some ideas. Maybe you want to fill out a questionnaire or you want to analyze a document. Really, it is endless in what you can do in the homepage, and that's why it says ask me anything, because you can ask anything. So I've got a couple of prompts here that I'm going to show you how we can really use Autogen, and you can use our homepage, whether it's for research or comparing documents, wanting to analyze, interrogate, and just get started, getting you off that blank page, making sure that you have the information that you need and the research that you need before you start really writing your response, getting that on the page. So what I'm going to ask here is, what are the current industry trends in artificial intelligence? So I want to know, what are the industry trends? And you'll see we have the ability to use our source providers here. So I can specify my sources. And that is something that's really key about Autogen, is that you have the ability to be in control of where your information is coming from. So you know that there's no need for hallucination, or there's no opportunity for hallucination, because you're identifying exactly where your sources have come from. We have our answer bank and data sets, which form as a part of our library, which I'm going to turn off. I don't need that right now. Oh, actually, I can keep that on. That should be fine. Then your library, which if I click on edit, I can choose if I want to specify folders, if I want to only pull from a specific folder, or if I want to have my wider library selected. But I think something you'll find super interesting is being able to edit your web search. So for a question like this, where I'm asking what are the current industry trends in artificial intelligence, I can click on edit web search and I can decide what websites to include or exclude within my research session. So do I only want to look at what, let's say, Salesforce Ventures has to say about the industry trends? Maybe I'm analyzing a specific client or a competitor. I can specifically choose their website. I can also decide what websites to exclude within my search. So for a question like this, where I'm wanting to broaden my search and look throughout the entire internet and see what is the general consensus, what does it say out there about the industry of AI. But you know what? I don't want to have any sort of nonsense searches. So let's make sure I don't have Wikipedia. And I can put in wikipedia.com, add that website, and then I know that it could look at the entire website, web engine, web search, and ensure that it's not going to be looking at Wikipedia. I can then click send, and I've started a new session. So I'm now asking, what are the current industry trends in artificial intelligence? And with Autogen, there is a real focus on making sure that the sources are credible and the information that you're getting is substantiated. It's not about pulling any old thing out of a hat. It's really providing substantiated information. So I can see the information that it's pulled, giving me generative AI dominance, AI ready data, responsible AI development, AI driven automation, and the list continues. It's given me 10 key points about current industry trends. I'll be able to drop this down and see what sources have been used. So it's quite clearly marked what's pulling from my library, what sources have been pulled from the internet. So I can see it's used Forbes, OpenAI tools, so looked at some articles. Now, to take that to the next level, if I wanted to do my due diligence and cross-referencing, I can click on this link and it will then take me to that source itself. And I can then go and do my further reading about that document where that information has come from. If it's pulling information from your library, which only people who have access to Autogen have access to your library. So as an organization, your data is secured, your information is sitting within Autogen, and it's not traveling anywhere else. It's in the house of Autogen. But what you can do is you can click on this source over here, see where it says organization library, and it pops up with the actual document. And because of agentic AI, which is a great new development within the AI world, if you haven't heard of it, it's something that should be really exciting. But agentic AI essentially is pinpointing exactly where in the document it has found that information from. So as you can see here, this source it's showing me the entire source. It's provided the entire file that's within my library, but it's pinpointed the paragraph in which it's used its information that is now provided in this search. So I've got my question here. I'm going to ask a follow-up question, and I can ask continuous questions and really interrogate my my search. So I'm now going to ask a follow-up question saying, based on the current industry trends that it's just given us that we've just seen here. So based on the current industry trends, what are your predictions? Oh, sorry. What are your predictions for artificial? Oh, there we go. Artificial intelligence in 10 years. And I think this is really key is looking at, okay, this is what you're saying now. What are your predictions for the next 10 years? I can choose if I want to update my sources, but I think I'm going to keep it the same. And then I can click send. So now it's going to also might use some of the information that it's found in this previous search to influence the next search. Fantastic. So it's constructed an answer. Again, I can see pulled from our library and a lot more sources on the internet. So these are the predictions for artificial intelligence over the next 10 years. Ethical and regulatory framework, supercharging computing with quantum AI, generative AI ubiquity, lots of interesting things, expanding impact on economies. So now let's take that even further and let's say, what solutions can AutogenAI provide to support significant industry growth? And I'm going to click on Pro. Now, what Pro does is it favors quality over speed. And we're conscious that we live in a world where things are instantaneous. We get an instant message. We can't watch a video for longer than 10 seconds at a time. But it's important to note, especially in the world of bid and proposal writing, it's important to note that we need to sometimes take that time to get a quality output, to dive in a little bit deeper and really strip those sources apart and flesh them out even further. So that's where you can really harness Pro, which favors quality over speed. And I suppose it depends on the type of question you're asking, which might be when you will choose to use it. So here it's giving me solutions that Autogen can provide to support industry growth. And I'm going to take it to the next phase. I'm going to say in a table, find relevant case studies for each point, proving how AutogenAI can transform the bid and proposal writing industry. I'll keep my pro selected and I can click send. So I've actually got this ready from previously. So I'll show you a table that's ready to go. So these were solutions that we can provide. And here is a table ready to go where it gives me the solution, a relative case study, and a description, and with the new sources that have been mentioned. The other thing, so this is a really great way that you can use the homepage. I'm just giving you an example of how you can prompt and ask types of questions and the information that you can get out. With the homepage, not only do you have the ability to research, you can also upload a document if you want to interrogate a document. Maybe it's a specification or a client document that you're needing to ask specific questions or pull out information on evaluation criteria, perhaps. In addition to that, you have the ability to compare two documents to each other. So I have an example ready to go. I uploaded two specifications that were pretty similar. So imagine you have a specification that's come out maybe a year apart and that it's in the same industry and you want to identify what are the similarities, what are the changes. In the comparison element, you'll get a nice little summary in the beginning where it shows you what are the additions, what are the removals, and it explains between the two. And then in a table side by side, you'll have the two documents. As you can see, there's my bid spec 1, here's my bid spec 2, and I can see exactly what is different and what is the same, whether it's wording, that like specific wording or overall messaging. It's highlighting the similarities and highlighting the differences, what's been added and what's been removed. So this is a really great way if you're wanting to check two different responses to each other or scoring criteria to a response, you have the ability to essentially compare two documents side by side, which can make life a lot easier. Great. Going back to my industry trends over here, I'm going to take this table and take it to the next level, and let's start to flesh this out further. So what I can do is I have the ability to regenerate if I needed to. I can copy my text only, copy it with citations, or I can just save it to a draft. So I'm going to click Save to Draft, and I'm just going to call this Webinar 1. And I've decided to include my sources. And as you'll see here, this has saved to a draft in what we call our write page. So your drafts is a private personal space for you to keep your documents secure that are only accessible to you. And when I'm finished working on a document, I can decide if I want to move it to a project, which is there where I can work collaboratively with my team. So I'll move it to a project. And this is where your projects are. So your projects is where you can invite team members to work on documents together, work on a bid together or a proposal together. And you'll be able to set a client name. So I can say webinar. In my project, I can set a timeline. So see what my deadline is. When is my due date? If I set it for the end of August, I can see I have 25 days left for my bid. Maybe we're in the writing phase and I can provide a summary. I can also add members of my team to my project. But now that I have my document here, I want to ensure, so I'm actually just going to remove this row. Remember I said to keep my sources. If I click on view sources, you'll see that there's my list of sources that have come. Now, it's really important to note that with Autogen at all times, you are able to identify your sources and really pinpoint exactly where that information has come from. So to take you to the next level of your writing, we're going to look at the two sort of elements and styles of being able to write in Autogen. You can either use our transformations, which are our pre-prompts, or you can freely prompt with Ask AI. Now, what do I mean by that? So let's say I take this case study, for example, and I want to elaborate on this point in a little bit more detail. I can highlight this piece of text, and you'll see over here, I either have the ability to ask AI, which allows me to prompt freely and ask anything that I want, Or I can use our list of transformations. So if I drop this down, you can see we have a lovely list of transformations that essentially are prompts ready for me to go. And why do we have that at Autogen? I think it's important to note that not everybody is comfortable with just being able to prompt freely. The whole idea of using AI and having AI is to help you get off of the blank page, to have that layer of support in getting you off the blank page. And often when you stuck puzzling with, oh gosh, how do I even word my prompt? This is such a new skill in the world, such a new skill in artificial intelligence, let alone the world. That sometimes you might need that guidance. And that's what these buttons are there for. You don't have to think about a prompt. You can just go, you know what? I actually just want to expand on that. I want to pull from my library. I want to maybe see what AI has to say to get some creative elements, new ideas. And I want to use the internet, and let's set a word target of 200 words. So it's a pre-prompt ready for you to go. And we can see some ideas here that will be pulled out for you. When I'm highlighting my text, you'll see that this menu over here mirrors these buttons over here at the top. So they're the same, they mirror each other. Now, in AutoGen, what's another really great thing about our tool is that we give you different options to choose from. So it's never about just spitting one option out at you. You're in control. You're the writer. You have the ability to craft your response and be in control of what is going into your response. So here I can see this is an Internet AI option. I can click on it and I can see exactly what sources have been used, and I can decide, is that something I want to use or not use? If I don't want to use it, I can just untick it and those options will not be there for me. If I want to see a library source, I can click on library and I can see what sources have been used there, and the same for option 2. And then again, option 3. And then creative AI is purely AI, purely harnessing the AI. So it's unable to pinpoint to a specific source, which is something that almost most people will come across. Whereas with AutoGen, we are really specific on ensuring where your information has come from. If this is text that I want to use and I want to leverage, I can, wherever my cursor is, I can insert that text. And over here, it says then can become a part of my writing and take my writing further. Another example, if I were to highlight this piece of material and again use my pre-prompts ready to go, I can click on explain how. And this is really a bid and proposal writing type of prompt, essentially transformation. And what I mean by that is this is designed to give you the how. So often in bid and proposal writing, if your response is being marked or someone is reviewing your response, they're going, okay, how is that going to be done? It's really great that you've said you're going to do this, but how is that going to be done? And so explain how is designed to be written in a way that gives you the how. It's looking at the sources that you have in your library and it's going, this is how we can do that. This is how we currently implement it. And the internet will look at sources on the internet that are relevant to the text that you highlighted. Again, if it's not relevant to you or you not wanting to use the internet, you can simply untick it. With creative AI, you might find at this stage of your writing journey that you might need a creative idea as to how that can be implemented. So I'm going to go with option 4, giving me 5 different examples as to how something can be implemented. To take that further, I might want to just highlight that and then perhaps get a case study. So as you can see, this is a very simple example, but the idea is that you can start to craft and really build onto your response as you're going throughout your bid and proposal writing journey. When it comes to pulling up a case study or pulling up a statistic, AutoGen is only using your library and the internet. So if there isn't a case study there, or there's no statistic there, it's not going to be made up. It's giving you what is available. There's no chance of hallucination. So I can click on library, see my sources. This is a lovely option. written in different ways, and I can appreciate that different options are presented in different ways, again, giving me the integrity to choose which one I prefer. If you are wanting to replace your text, just to show you, if your text is highlighted and I want to replace my text with this paragraph, and I insert it with that arrow, that then replaces my text. If it's an element that I'm wanting to insert, then wherever my cursor is I can simply insert that there. In addition to that, you can always edit your text on the side. Again, that level of control and always bringing the human in the room, the human elements as a part of it is really key to the success of using AI, is knowing that the reliance on humans is what makes the use of the tool powerful. So deciding, you know what, actually, I'm just going to take that little paragraph. I don't need the whole thing. I might just take that bit and that's that, or edit it in the way that works for you. Okay. Next part is if I were to highlight all of my text over here, all of this material that I've just inserted probably doesn't make cohesive sense. I'm going to use my Ask AI tab over here to be able to prompt freely. And with the ability to prompt freely, I think that's quite important, is that as I mentioned earlier, you can use our transformations that are pre-prompts ready for you to go, especially if you're not too sure on how exactly do I prompt. But you can also use our Ask AI tab, which allows you to ask whatever you want. So I can say maybe using the AutogenAI library, write this text as an executive summary. And off it goes. And it's just rewriting it in a different way for me. And I can see that it's changing that text around, really writing it, changing it in a different way. So I'll just clear that so we have some space on the page. It's harnessed a creative AI, but that's fine. It's leveraged the exact same material that I was using previously. Now, when it comes to wanting to edit your response, something that we know our bid and proposal writers absolutely love is it's all about time and saving you time. And so if you come down here past our evidencing tools, you'll see we have our editing transformations. So whether you're needing to simply summarize this entire body of text down into a short, snappy summary, as you can see on the side, or if you're needing to be a little bit more crafted and reduce your word character count by the word. So I can see I've got 290 words selective. Maybe I want to bring that back down to 170 words. So with AutoGen, it's always about thinking about the industry of bid and proposal writing, the word counts that you have here, what words have been removed, how can it be crafted? Maybe you're needing to just out of this little paragraph, edit it further down and do some word cutting, removing adjectives, replacing commas with slashes and so forth. In addition to being able to write freely, expand upon your text by either prompting freely or using the pre-prompts that we have available for you. And as you can see, we don't have the time to go through all of them. If you book a demo, you'll of course see more information and more detail. But one thing I want to bring to your attention is our Gamma review feature. So this fantastic feature allows you to review your text by inserting your bid question, inserting a part of your tender requirements or the guidance of your question. Perhaps it's your win theme. What are you wanting to measure your question against? And we look at the text that you've got on your right page, your question and requirement pair, and we're giving you some suggestions as to where you can improve your response. We also have a predefined criteria where you can go, great, how can I improve my approach and methodology, get some more evidence, be a little bit more robust, innovation, spelling, and grammar. And you click review. And essentially, it's going to be looking at the text that you have on this entire page, and it's going to give you reviews and suggestions as to where you can improve on your response. And I think that's really key with with the use of Autogen and within the realm of bid and proposal writing. So you can see our approach and methodology. It's quoting this lovely little case study here, and it says the text cites significant efficiency improvements, but does not clearly outline the steps, mechanisms by which repetitive tasks are automated. So, okay, that's absolutely fair. I need to give some examples as to how we've done that. So then I know straight away, great, I can go and click explain how, and I can implement that feedback. Essentially, you can see it gives you a list of suggestions as to where you can improve your response. And you can decide if it's something you've completed, you can action that or you can delete it. To leave you with one more exciting factor on Autogen is the ideator. So the ideator sits over here as its own standalone tool. And the ideator is here to help you get ideas. It's all in its name. So I've said here, how can AutogenAI transform the bid writing industry? And while the homepage is fantastic for producing volumes of text and really addressing a question as a whole, the ideator is designed to give you singular ideas, as you can see here, that you can either use these ideas to add to your storyboard or select the ideas that you're interested in so you can start to craft your response yourself. As always, you can see exactly which source this information has come from. If you like an idea, you can add it to your brainstorming page on the right-hand side. If an idea is not something that you're agreeing with, you can just remove an idea and a new one will pop up. If I have a couple of ideas, I can either copy them, take them to my storyboarding page, but I can also flesh that idea out even further. So I can synthesize the ideas, combining them all together into a paragraph, into a body of text. And essentially, it could be to a first draft. So you can enter your own custom ideas as well. You can edit them, but it's about taking those ideas and then starting to get you some information on a page to get you going for your writing. Once your ideas have been generated, it will take you to the latest page that you were working on or to a new draft, depending on which one you have selected. So here you can see it has taken, I can see at the bottom, it's 294 words. So it's combined those three individual ideas into one body of text, into a cohesive text that I could possibly use to get me started and get me off of the blank page. In addition to that, sometimes you want to maybe have your text a little bit more divided or broken up. So you can choose the ideas that you're working on and you can click on generate paragraphs. And generate paragraphs allows you to outline each of your ideas into separate paragraphs. So here you can see I've got a targeted word count of 200 words, and that will then break it down bit by bit for me. So it's all about letting you be in control over what you want, finding elements of text that work for you, being able to choose what works for you. So here with generate ideas and generate paragraphs, sorry, you can see this compared to the initial one, which was one body of text. Generate paragraphs gives you a little paragraph under each idea that you chose. With 1 minute left before we head on to the Q&A, I am going to show you Extract. Extract is another feature in Autogen that either allows you to select specific files within your library. So if you've uploaded specific documents, if you've uploaded a file yourself, or whether you want to paste in some text, and you can interrogate these documents further by extracting key information. Extract is really great for giving you an overview of, say, a specification or large tender documents. So I can maybe want to pull out the requirements, get a summary, extract keywords such as must, ensure, any key requirement words that you will be held against when it comes to being marked within a proposal. So if I just want to get a little one-page summary, I can click on it and a summary will pop up. But you can see from my previous extractions, I extracted dates and timelines, which is really handy to be able to pull that out from a specification. I wanted to see exactly what was the bid decision information. This is the requirements. So what are the commissioner's priorities, the person marking the bid, what are they looking for? And here is a lovely summary. So again, just giving you an easy way to digest large pieces of material to be able to give you more time to write and review your text rather than spending a huge amount of time in your qualify and prepare phases. Great. That is everything. I'm going to open it up to the Q&A and make sure that if there are any questions, I can see that we have some answered questions already, but please feel free to take this time to ask any questions in the Q&A forum. So we'll be using as the Q&A forum. Okay. We've got an anonymous attendee who has said this was a useful overview and they've used most of the prompts. So I'm glad to see that has helped. I think this workflow that I've shown you over here is something that you would use realistically. Can you just show the compare documents feature again, please? Yes, of course. So within a session in your homepage, currently I'm on the research option, but if I click on spot comparison, I can upload document 1 here, upload document 2, and I have that ready to go. So I'll just share this with you just for the sake of time. So you upload your 2 documents and then essentially it's giving you a summary on the 2 documents, right? I can see that those are my 2 files. Now, what's really handy is that it gives you a summary over here beforehand. So it can show me what are the additions and then here, what are the removals. So I can see elements that are additions and elements that have been removed. To take it further, I can see exactly what has been removed. I can see it, I can filter that out, right? And I can see what's been modified and what are the additions. But it takes you through the documents side by side so you can see exactly what is happening here. So where it's highlighted is where there are changes, whether it's either removals or additions. And if it's blank, then you know it's exactly the same. Are there any other questions? You're welcome. I've got a thank you on the from an anonymous attendee. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm glad that it was helpful. Thank you, Michelle. Any other questions? Please feel free to use the chat, well, the Q&A tab. Yes, the recording can be shared. And if you are interested in seeing a little bit further, you can absolutely book a demo. Someone's asked about our data sets function. Yes, of course. So I wasn't anticipating to show data sets considering the time constraints that we have, and there's so much depth within AutoGen. Essentially, the data set sits as a part of your library and it's migrating from the answer bank. The idea here is that you can use it to leverage information that you would have in like your PQQs, goals, sources, standard responses, maybe being able to formulate CVs, draft some content and pull a data set and information from the data set into your responses, whether that is in a document that is written as such that we've seen over here with all of our text here, or if it's written in pulling information from the homepage as you've seen as a source provider. Great. I hope that was helpful. It's a bit more difficult to demo live without the contents available, but the idea is that it will be able to pull that information directly from a data set for you. You're welcome. Are there any other questions? We'll give it a couple more moments. Great. I think if there are no more questions, you're more than welcome to jump off. But if you have any questions, lovely. One more question. Great. So the question is, what is the cost involved? That is something that you would discuss with your account executive once you book a sales demo. So please make sure that you go through our website to be able to book some sales demos, just so that you can get to know the business a little bit more, understand how the tool works in a bit more depth. I've just sort of given you an overview here. It's quite nice to just see like really a taste of what it can do, and the depths and where it can go. If you could just like envision using that for like actual proposal writing, bid writing, the depth of the functionality. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your time, and we hope to see you soon.